Mercy is a new crime, mystery, sci-fi movie starring Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson. Chris Pratt is this police detective. Him and his group of people have developed this new AI justice system program called Mercy. The way the system works, these really bad criminals who have done some really bad shit, they get locked into this chair in a room with this AI sort of judge communicating with them. They're given 90 minutes to prove themselves not guilty in front of this AI judge. They can use any sort of assistance from AI to prove their case themselves. However, if after those 90 minutes they cannot prove themselves innocent, they are immediately executed. Seems all well and good until one day Chris Pratt finds himself locked into one of these mercy chairs in front of an AI judge played by Rebecca Ferguson. He's been accused of murdering his wife. Now he's got 90 minutes to prove himself innocent. The premise of this movie alone was enough to get me interested in that. I mean, a guy is accused of murdering his wife. He's got to plead his case in front of an AI judge who believes there is very sufficient evidence that he did it. He's got 90 minutes to prove himself innocent, or he's dead. That's unique, it's creative, it's an idea that's probably in the not so distant future for us in reality with what AI is doing to the world. As far as the two leads, Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson, I mean, you know, they're fine. You know? I don't think these are their career-defining performances by any stretch of the means, but you know, they could have been worse. What I will say though, one of the immediate flaws this movie has is the fact that Chris Pratt plays a role of the accusee. And what I mean by that is, during this movie, you can tell the movie is trying to get you to, you know, come to grips with the idea that, oh, perhaps Chris Pratt is not innocent. Maybe he did murder his wife. Because, you know, Rebecca Ferguson is presenting all this evidence about, you know, their relationship, what happened in their marriage, you know, things that he might have gone through to try to make you believe. The movie wants you to think for a moment, at one point or another, that perhaps he did do it. The problem is Chris Pratt is just the type of actor that I don't know is really capable of playing someone who is a murderer. So immediately, when he's brought in and he's accused of murdering his wife, I was sitting there just like the whole time, as hard as the movie might have tried to make me have the idea that he could have done it, I was sitting there like, yeah, I don't think he did it. And also, if you've watched a lot of movies, and I have, and you've seen a lot of mystery thrillers and that sort of whodunit kind of sense a little bit, you know to keep an eye on every character we get introduced to. And the thing is, I feel like this movie assumes its audience is a little more stupid than it actually is. Or rather, an audience that is more naive to this sort of concept. Because the whole time, the movie is planting little bugs that Chris Pratt is finding out. You know, he's doing some research with, you know, certain video footage or certain text messages he might find through AI. And it's trying to make you believe like, oh, his wife was doing this, so maybe that has something to do with her. It's like, oh, maybe because this happened, that could lead into it. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, right out the gate of this movie, right when it kicks off, we are introduced to a character, and immediately I said, that's the one. That's who I'm keeping my eye on. Because I could tell what the movie was doing. It's like bringing in someone who's very much on Chris Pratt's side. Someone who really doesn't feel like the type of person who could do this. But the whole time I'm watching, I'm just like, there's going to be an explanation. It's going to be that person. And you know something? I was right. And so because the movie was that predictable, I just was never feeling the sort of tension that the movie wanted me to feel as we're along this investigation. And also, I feel like with movies like Searching and Missing, these other sort of, you know, mystery thrillers that are a lot better, by the way, you know, those movies were told in a very unique way. They did the whole, like, screen sharing sort of, you know, filmmaking technique. This movie does that too. The problem is, it constantly goes back and forth between that sort of film style with just the normal film style where it's, you know, Chris Pratt pleading his not guilty case to Rebecca Ferguson. And in moments like that, it just made the movie feel jarring. It's constantly taking you out of it. Like when we're on the FaceTime or we're sort of going through old footage of something, like security footage or whatever it might be, it just took me out of it. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a unique new film style. It's like the newfound footage that people are trying to do. But if you're going to go with that, stick by it and run with it. And yeah, the other issue is like throughout the course of the movie, I mean, yeah, we see glimpses of the movie through, you know, screen life or whatever, but the rest of the movie just takes place in this one room with these two characters. And here's the thing, movies that take place entirely in one setting, sometimes those can work, but other times, if you can't nail the premise or really nail what you're going for, you kind of just feel confined. And that's kind of just how I feel. I'm like, I'm stuck in a room with these two people. I kind of know the direction it's already going in because, you know, I pay attention. As a result, I'm kind of bored. Like, I wish I was on board with the investigation, but it just wasn't interesting enough. And yeah, the final act of this movie turns into something else entirely. Like, the whole time it's been this mystery thriller with some sci-fi elements in there. The final act turns into a full-on action thriller sort of movie that's completely unrelated to what we've been dealing with. It's like everything's been uncovered, this is what's going on now, and now it's just this action chasing. I'm like, this is completely out of place. Like, I don't know, the movie for whatever reason felt it needed some big, epic, grand scale sort of finale, so it went with this sort of idea that kind of feels unrelated to the premise that we were promised. And shifting back to the premise, I mentioned how interesting it was and the idea like, oh, AI, you gotta present your case to them, they believe you're guilty, so, you know, show AI that you're innocent by using all the tools that are available to you. That's interesting, but the problem is, as I was driving home after seeing this movie, I was bringing it down more, and I kind of realized it's like, wait a minute, AI has access to all these cameras, all this footage, all this information. Why did Chris Pratt then have to use that to prove himself innocent? I mean, if this AI system was as profound and, you know, foolproof as it might be, wouldn't it just be able to deduce itself that Chris Pratt didn't do it, or Chris Pratt was, whether he was innocent or guilty, couldn't it just do it itself? So it's one of those premises that kind of just like falls flat on its face a little bit because it's interesting in concept, but it just completely fell apart along the way when you really think about it. So all in all, I went into Mercy hopeful, but it pretty much sucked. It has an interesting premise, but the more you think about it, the more it kind of doesn't work. The two leads, I mean, they're kind of phoning it in. They're not really trying to give you an A-list performance here. It was very obvious to me how the mystery was going to unfold as it went along. I wasn't really on board with the investigation. The shifting between the two filmmaking styles did not work for me. Being stuck in a room with the two actors was not at all engaging. I felt trapped. I felt confined. I didn't really want to be there. And the final act turns into something that is completely unrelated to what the movie has been this whole time. It's complete nonsense. And in the end, there's really just not a nice way to put it. This movie sucks. Part of me wants to give the movie a 3 out of 10, but that would imply that there was a moment in here that I could go back and watch, but really, none of me wants to ever revisit any of this movie again. So for that, I have to give Mercy a 2 out of 10, which makes this movie pretty fucking terrible.
This is so fucking stupid.
Yep, January movies are still alive and well, my friends. Well, we're almost over with. That's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.